Hi. I would like to talk to many of you who may be dealing with the difficulties of gardening. And hopefully I can convey to you my experiences when it comes to gardening and how it affects my disabilities. My name is Martin Bouchot, and I'm a disabled gardener. Many of us have disabilities that are unseen physically, but make no mistake about it, those disabilities are there, and they're ever so present. Gardening with disabilities can become very daunting and frustrating and difficult at times, and oftentimes, in my own personal experience, I find myself taking a step back and 2 days, and 2 days turn to a week and so forth. And I sort of lose the motivation to garden simply because the pain can be quite intense. Now, I have multiple disabilities. And one of the latest disabilities that I was diagnosed with 2 years ago was lupus. Now, if any of you know much about lupus, you know that it can affect each person different. But how does it affect us when it comes to gardening? Well, for right now, the lingering side effect that I have with lupus, and remember, I am medication free. I don't take medications, and I get all of my medicines naturally. That means I get it from the garden, right there, in my entire backyard. I decided to grow my own food, and I felt that if I can take charge and produce the foods that I eat, and we're talking about nutritious food, I said, I could give this a shot and possibly lessen the symptoms of lupus. You see, there is no cure to lupus. Absolutely not. However, you can lessen the symptoms, and better, you could even put it in remission for good. That's the cure, is putting it in remission so that it never becomes active again. But there's a few things you've got to do along the way to help yourself and put yourself in a position where lupus will not deter you from gardening. Simple things like this that we love so much, especially those of us who are producing our own food, becoming self-sufficient and self-sustainable. That's very important. So I like to rely on getting it done myself. That's called self-reliance. So here's the key. When I deal with certain aches and pains, I find myself becoming very sort of like a embryo when they sort of hide in that warm spot and they don't want to come out. Well, when these aches and pains happen, they could take you mentally out of a place where you were comfortable, and just like that, put you into a state of mind that why? Well, I'm going to tell you why. It's because we have to take care of our bodies. So gardening has done a lot for me. And one of the ways that I love to garden when it comes to the outdoors is in elevated raised beds. Elevated raised beds have brought the beds off the ground about 4-5 feet high. In some cases, depending on your height, your bed is going to be built according to those specific measurements. I love my elevated raised bed, and I personally built them myself. Was it a challenge? Of course. A lot of hammering and drilling can take a lot of impact, and it can place it right here in your joints. So for me, I deal with the inflammation part. And this is the only hand right now that has some of it located right around this area. At one time, it was on both hands, my fingers were swollen, and in the joints of the knuckles and so forth. But due to my diet and the way I eat, I was able to eliminate that pain completely in 99% of my body. Plant-based dieting is what my family eats. We're not vegans, we're not vegetarians. We're simply plant-based, whole foods. No starch, no refined sugars, no wheat, no gluten, no dairy, no meat. Just wholesome foods. Plants, fruit. If it's not grown in my garden, I don't eat it. Not even from the grocery store. I grow what I eat, and we eat what we grow. It's quite simple. So, without further ado, I want to show you folks a little bit more about how to garden with lupus. In the meantime, stay tuned for my next episode. I look forward to helping all of you cope with many difficult illnesses. And these diseases can take over your life in a negative way. But I want to show you how you can continue to move forward. Remember, sky is not the limit. Why not go for the moon? Until next time, take care of yourselves. I certainly will. And from my heart to yours, Martin Bruchot.